In this video, we will create multiple PI tags for the PI interface relational database, also known as the RDBMSPI interface. This will use the tag group strategy for querying data from the relational database. We have three servers in our architecture: a PI server, a relational database, and a PI interface node with a previously configured instance of the RDBMSPI interface. Configuration of the RDBMSPI interface with the PI ICU is shown in another OSIsoft Learning Channel video. In the tag group strategy, one SQL SELECT query is made to the relational database, and the data to populate multiple PI tags is returned. This strategy is useful if we have a table with multiple columns from which we would like to get data. In this table, I have two columns, or two data streams. I can create two PI tags, one tag for the %committed bytes column and one tag for the available megabytes column. The values of the two tags will share the same timestamp, the last modified time. The RDBMS interface uses the unique tag configuration settings to determine which column of data belongs to which PI tag. One or more rows can be returned to populate the multiple PI tags. The SQL SELECT statement used in the tag group strategy includes multiple columns, an optional column for the timestamp, the first value column I want, the second value column I want, and so on. Each value column is required to have a column for the status or quality of the corresponding column. Often, a 0 is used for the status column. There is no limit to the number of value columns that can be listed in the SQL SELECT statement. For this computer performance table, we would select the last modified time column as the timestamp, the %committed bytes column for the first tag with a 0 for its status, and the available megabytes column for the second tag, also with a 0 for its status. Configurations are unique for every situation, so please download the Relational Database RDBMS via ODBC interface manual at the Tech Support Download website. In the interface manual, Chapter 7 discusses PI point configuration, and Chapter 8 discusses writing SQL statements for the RDBMSPI interface. To create the tags that will be used by my tag group strategy, I'm actually going to start on the interface node. What I want to do here is create the .SQL file that will contain the SQL statement containing my query. I'm going to open Windows Explorer and navigate to my SQL directory. This is Program Files, x86, PyPC, Interfaces, RDBMSPI, SQL. This is the directory that's defined on my RDB ODBC view by my SQL Files directory. I'm going to create a new text file here. And then name it something useful, and actually change it from a text file to a .SQL file. I'm going to edit it and type in my SQL query. As you'll notice, my SQL query is pretty long, which is why I'm choosing to use a .SQL file for my query rather than put it into the ExtendedDescriptor tag attribute. I'm starting out by pulling back my last modified column as my timestamp, and then several other columns that will distribute to multiple tags using the tag group strategy. For each value that I'm pulling back the value column plus this 0, which is the status column. This is coming from the node perfstat table for the rows in which the node is equal to alpha 1. I'm going to save that and close it. And then move to my Pi server, Walnut, to create the tag, the first tag. I'm going to create the first tag with Pi System Management Tools in the Point Builder plugin. I'm going to give my tag a name that is unique and also starts with an alphanumeric character. This tag is going to hold the %committed bytes value for my alpha1 node. I'm going to change the point source to reflect that of my RDBMSPI interface defined in the ICU. This is RDB-SQL. On my Archive tab, I can set the exception and compression, and then the typical value, 0, and span, as I would any other Pi tag. On the Classic tab, I'm going to set my location 1 equal to the interface ID defined in the ICU for my RDBMSPI interface. Location 4, I'm going to set to a scan class defined in my RDBMSPI interface. I'll want to go to the user manual to look up what values I should put in for location 2, 3, and 5. For my particular scenario, location 2 can be either 0 or 1. Location 3 is going to be the column that I'm putting into this tag. In this case, from my SQL query, this was the second column being returned by my select statement, so I'll set location 3 equal to 2. Location 5 I can leave at 0. My InstrumentTag tag attribute contains the name of the .sql file that contains the SQL query that I'm using for this tag. That's tag group. Then to save my tag, I'm going to hit the disk icon and create my tag. I'm now going to go to the Data, Current Values plugin and wait for my tag to update with new data. Now that I know that the first tag in my tag group strategy is working, I can create all the other tags using the Excel PyTag Configurator plugin. I've already imported my alpha1 %committed bytes tag by using the PySMT import tags with the PyTag Configurator. I'm now going to create my other tags. I can copy the settings for my first tag for my remaining tags. My location 3 will be unique for all of my tags, as each tag is getting data from a different column returned. And I do need all of my tags to be float 32s. I'm going to select all my tags and then export them to the Pi server. Going back to my Pi server, I'm going to go into the Current Values plugin and search for the additional alpha1 tags that I created. And I can see that they're now all updating with data.